Now, the Korean and Chinese foreign ministers held their first talks in Beijing. For more on this, we invite Kim Bo-kyung into the studio. Bo-kyung, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, as far as I know, this marks the first foreign ministers meeting since the Lee Jae-myung administration kicked off early June. What is the latest information we have about the meeting and what significance does it hold?
Right. So South Korea's Foreign Minister Cho Hyun and his counterpart Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held their talks in Beijing beginning at around 6:30 p.m. and are assumed to be having dinner afterwards. So we might have to wait for meetings results to come out later at night. But for now, Minister Cho reportedly said he hopes Seoul-Beijing ties will mature and develop with the APEC summit being a turning point, while Wang Yi underlined that the two countries must become strategic cooperative partners. Regarding the significance of the meeting, as you said, it marks the first talks between the two top diplomats since the inauguration of President Lee. Minister Wang has not visited South Korea since attending the Korea-Japan-China foreign ministers meeting in Busan in November 2023. Since former Foreign Minister Cho Tae-yeol visited China in May last year, it was now China's turn to visit South Korea. But Foreign Minister Cho Hyun decided not to insist on order or formalities, and this is how the meeting came about. One expert says this meeting has many layers of significance in that South Korea is trying to navigate its relations with the U.S. and China, showing that Seoul is aiming to conduct a more independent, multilateral, and reasonably balanced diplomacy. He also added that this is to alleviate tensions in the region.
This visit is likely a part of an effort to reset or de-escalate tensions in Northeast Asia. Also, Seoul has interest in ensuring China remains at least partially cooperative in dealing with North Korea and in maintaining regional order.
Right, I guess we'll have to wait to see what the two top diplomats discuss, but the foreign minister, Cho Hyun, he did, however, give us a hint before he departed for China.
Right. He departed for his two-day visit to Beijing this morning, and he did say he's going to discuss a wide range of issues with his Chinese counterpart. Easing tensions in Northeast Asia, as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un recently visited China, will of course be on the agenda, along with specifics of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Korea during the APEC summit slated to take place in Gyeongju from October 31st to November 1st. Listen to this.
Since Chairman Kim Jong-un recently visited China, we plan to discuss that and consult with China on North Korea issues. We also expect President Xi Jinping to visit South Korea for the APEC summit, and we will talk about the details of this.
When asked about whether Seoul will ask Beijing to play a role in Pyongyang's denuclearization, Minister Cho said the South Korean government was consistently urging China to play a constructive role on the issue, and that he will ask once more during the meeting. There are some thorny issues to talk about, including China's placement of structures in the Red Sea, to underline that even though neighboring countries should cooperate, some undesirable issues should be raised and addressed, and he will raise them to find a solution.
I see. Now, before Joe departed for Beijing, Chinese state media also expressed high expectations. Could you tell us more about that?
Sure. The state-run Hanchu Shibao newspaper and its English version, the Global Times, published a joint editorial on Tuesday saying Minister Cho's visit to Beijing is highly significant in terms of timing and that they hope this will serve as an opportunity to advance bilateral relations. Hoping that the two diplomats' meeting will create a favorable atmosphere for future high-level exchanges, the editorial also noted that there have been recent signs of a restoration in relations between South Korea and China, citing the Korean government's decision to allow visa-free entry for Chinese group tourists starting later this month. While saying China was able to see South Korea's determination to develop relations with Beijing by Minister Cho choosing to visit the country first without sticking to precedents, they argued that both countries should work together by ignoring external factors and focusing on the fundamental interests of the two countries.
All right, Bo-young, these are all the questions I have for today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.